let me, let me, let me. All right, well, today we will talk about on this day. You heard of William Tyndale, the man who, so to speak, sacrificed his life for the Bible to be translated into English. On this day, in 1536, William Tyndale was burnt at the stake for translating the Bible into English. And when he was confronted by one of the clergymen about his work, Tyndale famously replied, "If God spare my life, I will cause the boy who driveth the plow to know more of Scripture than you do." The man who drives the plow, what we call today an average Joe, or in those days it was as small as a peasant. You know, these farmers were not sophisticated enough, but that's what he means here. He died at age 42, and God blessed his work. By 1604, James I approved the new translation of the Bible into English. Tyndale's work became the basis of 90% of the King James Version. Wow. Imagine if we didn't have this man. Okay, he was born in Hamlet, near the Welsh border, in 1490. And he arrived to Oxford with a gift for languages. You see, God gave him a gift and he used it. He didn't tarry. He didn't just sit down and do nothing. Wow, what an honor, what a vessel for him to be the man who was in charge of translating the Bible, where an average Joe can read it, like us. What God has given you as a gift, you must practice. You know, I recently kind of semi-retired, and I have a lot of time on my hand, and I'm just like shaking my head. You know, what can I do for you, God? Seriously. You ever ask God, what can I do? What can I do for your kingdom? This is the burden I have now. I'm not being a wise guy, I'm serious, and I haven't had an answer yet. I do what I do as much as I could, but after reading this article this morning, I shouldn't have any complaints. We got it good. Okay, so this man, let me tell you about his story. This is worth reading. He was threatened and opposed because he wanted to translate the Bible into English. And then, let me see, he approached the Bishop of London for help in rendering the Bible into English, but he was rebuffed. Tyndale, nevertheless, began working on his project. Finding his life in danger, he fled to the continent. There he continued translating, smuggling copies of the Gospel of Matthew, Mark into London. Spies combed Europe looking for him. Tyndale played a cloak and dagger game, hiding and running, translating and smuggling. By 1525, complete copies of the New Testament were being secretly read in England. On May 21st, 1535, Tyndale was betrayed and seized. He languished in a miserable prison cell. His witness there converted the jailer and his family. And on October 6th, like today, 1536, he was tied to the stake outside of Brussels, strangled and burned. He was 42. And Tyndale's final words says, "Lord, open the King of England's eyes And that prayer had already been answered, for King Henry the Eighth, I believe, had approved of the New English Bible by Miles Coverdale, I think, which was Tyndale's friend. Henry never realized that Coverdale's Bible was nearly 70% Tyndale's work. In 1604, James I approved the new translation of the Bible into English, and Tyndale's work became the basis of 90% of the King James Version, in which many translations came out of the King James, including the Van Dyke that I read sometimes in Arabic, witnessing to Muslims. So we owe this man a great deal, that we have the Bible at hand and we can read it. We don't need anybody to read for us. We can read it ourselves, as we should. Well, oh my, there's so many values to read out of this. He was burned at the stake. Can you imagine that? Maybe we should do a segment on the printing press. Imagine without the printing press. But anyway, this is an honor of William Tyndale that not too many Christians actually know about, which is surprising. But I think he has plenty of manuscripts and interpretation of the Bible that I really should buy. I have a few books, but this one I haven't gone yet. So this is what it is, folks. That's the word for today. Have a great day and keep the faith.